Welcome back to another episode of Big Apple Breakdown. What a time to be a sports fan. We got the NFL draft in a little over a week. The NBA playoffs are starting up this weekend with the play-in tournament already starting, and baseball is in full swing. Henry, are you ready?
Yes, sir. Pretty underrated time in the sports calendar, if you ask me. We got the NBA playoffs coming up. We got baseball every night. Just some exciting stuff coming up.
Yeah, I really like this time of the year. You know me, I'm a big basketball guy. I love the NBA playoffs. I'll be watching that daily, and I love draft day rumors. I just feel like it changes by the day now. You don't know what to believe. It's really fun to follow the stuff, and I just love the draft. The draft is such an exciting time for me as a sports fan. I love watching it. I love day 2 of the draft, and even when it's like early afternoon.
As New York sports fans, we don't really have much else to get excited for.
Exactly. This is our Super Bowl.
Yes, sir.
This is the one time of year where I could put some false hope in my mind, besides like July and August where I see the schedule come out, which is like April actually. Actually probably soon. But and I'm like, I somehow find 9 or 10 wins every year. I'm delusional.
Last year for the Jets, I found 14.
Exactly. So that's another fun time, which should be coming out soon. But we have Juan Soto made some interesting comments about the Yankees. Henry, you want to explain exactly what he said?
Yeah, he said something about how Judge was the best hitter in the world, hitting behind him all last year, and that definitely helped him last year. But, you know, Judge at this point in the season last year was hitting, 220? Pete Alonso's hitting 345.
Yeah, I really think his comments were ill-advised. The Mets are a first-place team right now. They're right now at 11-7, but by the time the article came out, I think they were 10-5, and the Mets are playing great. And he has to mention the Yankees when Pete Alonso's having an MVP start to the year. How's that going to make Pete Alonso feel? You know,
exactly.
That's got to be frustrating to hear.
Part of me wonders, though, if he got baited into that question. But, I mean, at this point, it is pretty little brother behavior to still be talking about that. And I hate as a Yankees fan dragging the Mets through the mud, because I just feel like there's no point to even go there and bother the topic. But it's time and time again
that he's bringing them up.
And he's bringing them up, and he just doesn't stop talking about it.
To me, if I'm a Mets fan, I'm a little pissed off. Like, I've been saying this to like some of my Mets fans friends, and like Juan Soto chose to sign with the Mets. He's contract in. Steve Cohen and Mets fans, they don't need to dance for him anymore. Like, he's on your team. Soto has to prove to the Mets now that I'm that guy, I'm that great hitter. And I really don't like these comments, because although you're not putting up the great numbers, your team's off to a great start. And now we're talking about this instead of the Mets, who are a first-place team in the NL East. And it was just selfish. Look, he didn't lie. Like, Aaron Judge is the best hitter in baseball, but he shouldn't have said that. And it seems like, I don't know, it's a little weird. Like, it's not like the Yankees traded him away. You chose to leave the Yankees. Deal with it.
If you're the guy making $765 million, it shouldn't matter who's hitting behind you, honestly.
And it's not like it's a bum.
Yeah, it's Pete Alonso.
He's a good player.
He's off to one of the best starts of his career.
Yeah,
Did you see what he was wearing in the game? I believe it was Sunday. The hood. He was out in right field.
He did it all series.
Yeah, okay.
So
he was out in right field wearing the hood above his hat.
His body language just looked a little gross, and I don't know if he misses being a Yankee, which, you know, that, okay, like,
there are some rumors about that. Supposedly,
Andy Martino, I remember, said that.
Yeah,
so this is not
way
a first
back,
time
and they're kind of resurfacing a little bit that Boris and his mom both wanted him to go to the Mets, and he wanted to stay with the Yankees.
But you're your own person, like,
yeah, exactly.
I think he wanted to go to the Mets. Ultimately, that's what he chose, and it's not like the Mets offered him hundreds of millions more. It was pretty much $50 million more and a suite. But if he wanted to stay that much as a Yankee, and I'm not even speaking as a Yankee fan, I'm sure Mets fans feel this way. If you don't want to be here, get the F out of here.
Yeah, and I mean, how bad could his life really be? He's making $760
He's on a good team.
million on a great team. Still in the city of New York, which it seems like he wanted to be in New York no matter what. Either way, for him, I feel like it's a tough situation, because no matter what team you join, if he's worried about like the personnel they can get around him on either team, if you're taking $760 million, a contract of the likes we've never seen before, it's going to be hard to build either of those teams up, even with the Cohens and Steinbrenners.
And the comment confused me too because he was only on the Yankees for 1 year. He was a Padre for longer. So, like, it's not like he played with Aaron Judge his whole career. That's what I just didn't like how he said that. It makes no sense. Like, he was only there for 1 year.
He was Juan Soto before last year. The things he did in Washington, even with the Padres, I think he hit 35 home runs 2 years ago. But in San Diego, people got like caught up on his body language and that it looked like he didn't want to be there. And him as a Dominican player, it's tough for like his family to watch because of the time zone difference, whatever. So he got to the city he wanted to be in, and then I don't know. I guess the $5 million that could turn to $50 or $40 million more.
And well, all he had to say is, "Look, I've had my offensive numbers. I feel I'm confident that I'll get back to that ability. Team's winning right now. I'm happy." That's all he had to say. And I would be annoyed if I was a Mets fan. So I asked some of my Mets fans friends what they think, and this is what one of them said to me. End of the day, Soto is a hell of a ball player and is going to say what he wants to say. The media is always going to twist his words and make false narratives about him, which this probably is all a little bit of a media jam due to the fact that he has the biggest spotlight on him in the history of baseball, and expectations are through the roof. The Mets are 11-5, and no one truly knows what's happening behind the scenes. Either way, Mets are winning games. Soto hasn't played up to the standard compared to the contract he got, but he's going to heat up as the weather does. And he just said, "Let's go Mets." So
you could argue biggest spotlight ever.
Yeah, that's a little exaggerating.
I mean, we've seen guys, Ohtani. You could also argue even back in the day before social media, maybe A-Rod, Jeter, even Aaron Judge has a bigger spotlight.
That was over-exaggerating.
Aaron Judge well overshadows Juan Soto in the city of New York. I don't know.
If I'm Steve Cohen, I'm telling him, "Look, dude, shut up about the Yankees. You're on the Mets. I don't want to hear about them anymore. Talk about the team. Let's go. Stop mentioning them."
Yeah.
Do we have some voicemails? Because I know a lot of people were a little had some feelings about this.
We have 3 Juan Soto voicemails. I'll just play.
All right, play all of them. Let's go.
And then we can continue discussing.
Hot topic. Both teams are in first place, by the way.
Hey guys, this is Chris from Rochester. I'm just calling to kind of discuss, or let you guys discuss, this whole thing with Juan Soto and his comments about Aaron Judge. As a diehard Mets fan, I have absolutely no problem with it. Judge is an unbelievable player hitting behind him, so it's okay to maybe say he's having a hard time right now. He's a little frustrated. I think players, when they're with new teams, sometimes do things they regret. Everyone probably forgets now because we all love Lindor. But remember 2021 when him, Baez, and I think Pilar were doing the thumbs down after they got a hit because fans were booing them. Back then, people were annoyed at Lindor for doing it, and now they all love him. Give Soto some time, and every Met fan will love him. It's just right now he's struggling a little bit. The team's winning, so I have no problem with it. Come October, we'll be playing baseball, and we'll all be loving Soto. Thank you. Bye.
Well, thanks for the call. Well, I agree with you. Give it time. You know, this will all be forgotten. He has 15 years there, unless something just somehow, some insane way he's not there for 15 years. But you have to be a little frustrated as a Mets fan. Like you said, the team's playing great, and he's mentioning Aaron Judge and the Yankees. And, you know, like when Pete Alonso is a fan favorite, had a horrible offseason, he didn't get the contract he wants, that's just going to hurt his confidence. And Soto, you know, Lindor is probably the leader of the team, but Soto is the money guy. He's the guy everyone's looking at. You have to feel a little frustrated as a fan, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, Soto slotted so perfectly behind, like in the sense next to Judge, because he could just go out there and play baseball. He didn't have to be a leader. Maybe he's not a great leader, and his numbers are bad. His average is 231, but he's still walking a lot, still getting on base. It's cold. Like you got to give hitters time to heat up, and in the warm weather, I don't know. People are definitely blowing this out of proportion right now, but there could be something to
monitor
that he maybe is a bad leader, that sort of thing. Because when he was with Judge, he just fell in line. And
even
I think
the Padres were in his team.
And yeah,
Nationals,
exactly.
He was the
but
kid.
On the Padres, him and Machado kind of stepped on each other's toes. I think they both were kind of fighting for what's the word? Like being the alpha.
Yeah.
With Judge, he didn't even have the opportunity to do that, just because he's going to a team where Aaron Judge is established. Aaron Judge is the captain of the New York Yankees, so he didn't have an opportunity to go and try to step on Judge's toes. And I think that took some stress off him. He could just go out there and play baseball. And now I think he may be a little overwhelmed in a sense that he has to be the guy. And
does he feel pressure to put up the numbers? Is that
feel pressure to put up the numbers? Maybe feel pressure to be the leader, and maybe that's just not the type of personality he is.
Which, well, typically, like with Juan Soto, he never feels forced to put up numbers, as he'll take any walk.
Exactly.
Which is this is a little surprising what he said to me, and he's got to get used to it though. Like I don't think they're gonna pitch him any differently than they are right now. Like he's the main guy in the team. I don't know. They're gonna pitch him it's gonna be even worse in October. You may see 1 or 2 pitches a game, and he has a chance to really do some damage with.
Soto said something about seeing more strikes because Judge was behind him. If he's not seeing as many strikes, he's got a great eye. Why doesn't he just keep taking the walks?
His personal numbers are clearly bothering him. That has to be the truth, and that's a little selfish in my opinion.
Yeah, a little selfish.
But,
yeah.
All right. Next voicemail.
Next voicemail.
Yeah.
Hey, boys, it's Lou in New Jersey. Love the show. I assume you've been talking about Juan Soto already.
Yeah.
And how he's so soft. Question, if you had to predict it right now, does Juan Soto opt out of his Mets contract, or does he stay until the end? What do you think?
Ooh, I like that question.
Oh, well, I have to he kind of can opt out. He can, but the Mets could void it. And he's gonna, because very much with the contract, it turns into $815 million, because if he opts out, the Mets can just void it, and you add it's $5 million more per year. Kind of similar to what Garrett Cole did, which, look, if Juan Soto has a horrible stretch and he tries to get more money, the Mets could call his bluff like the Yankees did, but he doesn't have control of leaving the Mets pretty much. So that's the only thing.
It's one of those. I know baseball has a club option, player option, and then they have
he
both.
can opt out, but the Mets could just void it, and it just turns into $5 million more per year.
Okay.
So he really doesn't have control of his own.
And either way,
he doesn't have control pretty much.
Okay.
Because if he's horrible, he's not going to opt out.
Exactly.
So he's not going to leave the Mets.
Okay.
But
let's play the next one.
Yeah, just to clarify that, he doesn't have control.
Hello, this is Colosro from the Bronx. Let me tell you guys something. This guy Soto on the Mets, he's crying about Judge not being behind him anymore. Give me a freaking break. I mean, this guy's making what, $700 million? Get out there, hit the stinking ball. I mean, what a bum this guy is. I can't stand it when these players go out there. They make all this freaking money, and now he's crying. Get back on the field. Play the freaking game.
I love it.
That might be our best phone call of the show. Oh my God, that was great.
History of the show. We might have to save that.
Oh my, yeah, we're definitely, that's great, but I like it. He's right. You're making $765 million. Figure it out.
Exactly. And if Alonso keeps putting up these numbers, he's going to be seeing more strikes. Like,
yeah, he'll be fine. But I like it. Like, he shouldn't be complaining. He's here for. It's a somber taste in the Mets fans' mouth. He's here for 15 years, and I don't think the numbers thing's an issue at all. It's just what the media stuff, some of the stuff he said is surprised me, and I wonder if it's because Boris isn't in his ear telling him what to say to the media. Because last year he was like a robot with the media. He would just like with his contract. But this year
he was just getting to.
He already got the money, so I'm sure him and Boris aren't talking as much. So I don't know. Like, is this just who he is? Like, you have to look back at his comments with the Padres maybe to evaluate it more. Not sure.
Yeah, the Padres are Nationals, and I think if he didn't say this, even with the poor numbers he's putting up, but he's getting the walks. His average.
It'd be all positive Mets.
His average is back.
Mets are a first place team.
It would be all positive.
Their
Mets
pitching
talk.
looks great.
It'd be all positive Mets talk, and Juan Soto's struggles would be a footnote, but it would be like the Mets are still off to this great start. Soto's struggling a little bit, but he's going to turn it up, and then the Mets are going to be on fire when he does that.
Yeah.
So,
maybe this will be one of those things where we look back in 2 months and be like, yeah, we made this way too big of a deal.
Exactly.
I actually hope
or
that's what
maybe
case. I don't want to see this be a shit show. I don't root against the Mets.
I don't root against the Mets either, but as a Jets fans, because most Jets fans are Mets fans, I see the similarities in the sense of like it's good that Soto went to the Mets because then that means there's probably a problem coming. As a Yankee fan, because I'm a Jets fan too.
No,
you know what I mean?
It's different. It's just different. It's hard to. I get what you're saying.
Because the Mets.
Are you kind of see you're compared to like Aaron Rodgers thing?
Mets and Jets. It's not even Aaron Rodgers because
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is a totally different situation.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying in the sense that the Mets and the Jets and the Nets all mess stuff up.
That's true.
They're very similar.
Okay, I like the Nets comparison when they got the stars.
Yeah,
okay.
very similar organizations. And it's not like Kevin Durant and Kyrie, they weren't locked in for 15 years. So Soto's locked in for 15 years. But I just think that these teams mess things up. So
Yeah, we'll see.
I can see that.
Look, if I'm like I said, if I'm Cohen, I'm putting my foot in the door. Like, dude, stop.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said before, like, there's nothing to dance more for him. He signed the contract. He's got to prove it to you guys now, Mets community. All right, let's move on to some Yankee talk. So the Yankees have been playing some better baseball recently. What are we, 10-7? First place in the American League East, which is I believe we're number one in the AL even now, it's crazy. The American League's kind of just off to a slow start. And I said this to you off camera, we're like, oh, the Yankees starting pitching, which besides Max Fried has been just really bad.
Really bad.
I think a lot of teams in the American League have flaws. Every team in the American League has flaws. And the Yankees, I actually think because of how they're playing with this, how bad their pitching is, I feel a lot more confident about them winning the American League than I did spring training. Because none of these teams look great. That's my thing.
A little bit of the overreaction that people are having about the Yankees being bad is I just think they're not as exciting as they were last year.
Yeah,
they're
like
playing
top heavy.
They're playing in a cleaner brand of baseball, more
younger
better, guys, better winning formula. But it's not quite as exciting. And I think people, you know how we are in this day and age, instant gratification, all that. I think people are looking more for the excitement, and they just got to be patient. And over the long haul, it's all going to work itself out.
Well, the guy that I want to give a big shout out to, who just looks like he's born to be Yankees, Max Fried. He's looked awesome. In his 4 starts, I believe, he has a 1.88 ERA. And he's just pitched amazing. He's carried the starting pitching as a whole. And it's just really nice to have a guy like that to pencil in, especially without Garrett Cole. And look, he has the role of an ace. And he's really taken it to heart. You could tell that's a guy that just didn't chase the money. I think he really wanted to be a Yankee. And it's nice to see. It is really nice to see how good he's been.
And watching him last night, he kind of embodies the opposite of what Carlos Rodon is. He, pretty early on in the game, he fell down 2-0. He stayed locked in, continued making his pitches. The offense came in and picked him up.
Yeah,
and
I know.
It's just I hate to start talking about Carlos Rodon right now.
No, he sucks. So
he
keep
sucks,
going.
yeah. But because if this was Rodon, the 2-run home run, Rodon would have totally imploded.
Oh yeah.
But Fried does that, and he just stays locked in, keeps executing his pitches, and lets his offense come and pick him back up.
Let's go. Oh, come on. Now it's on my mind. I've never seen a pitcher like Carlos Rodon who could look awesome in 5 1/3 inning, but for 7 pitches just ruins the game by walking a guy, giving him a home run, boom, 5 earned runs. And it's insane.
I've never seen a broadcast glaze him more than the Yankees broadcast.
Even the Yankees themselves, Aaron Boone.
Boone talking about how he just missed a couple pitches, but it's a walk, then a single, then a home run. These runs don't just spawn out of nowhere.
It's not like it's not like he's this young guy that's okay, like Will Warren. When I see him pitch, that's a guy that if he gives up some runs, it's a couple mistakes. That's something where I'm like, okay, that's fixable. But Carlos Rodon, this is just who he is. I don't see this changing.
And he's not a young guy.
Exactly. He has the contract.
He got handed a huge contract to go out there and be an ace or a 2, and be a 2 that pitches like an ace.
And I don't know if last year I guess he had a 4 ERA. Is that the best possible version we're gonna get from him? And he was kind of he didn't have the pressure on him because of how much those other guys stepped up. Where the Yankees didn't really have an ace last year until Cole came back. I guess Luis Hill, but so many guys pitched well. But now the starting pitching just been really bad. Stroman is just. Look, he should never pitch a game for the Yankees again.
Yeah.
He's fucking awful. Yeah, that's the best way to describe him.
He is fucking awful. 2 nights ago, Cookie Carrasco looked good.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
Yeah.
But he's going to be
he won't be on the team
He's going to be
after
the odd
June.
man out.
I hope it's Stroman, dude.
Pretty soon.
Stroman's hurt right now. This is a Yankee thing when a guy really plays bad, like DJ LeMahieu last year, and they just don't cut him, put him on IL. Look, there's no reason for Marcus Stroman to be in the team. It's not like he's a positive clubhouse guy. Internally, I don't think they like him, the team.
Yeah.
That's just my view on it.
I don't think they like him either. It's not even that they don't like him. I think that they wanted to move off of him, but they were trying to do right by him. And if Stroman only has one more year left on his contract, so if he didn't come out and make those comments about, hey, I'm not a reliever, I'm a starter, and then he pitched a season in the bullpen, then his market is totally different than if he came out and pitched well as a starter. And that hasn't happened, and that's not going to happen. So
he has nothing. He can't throw strikes. Yeah. He has no velocity, and his pitchers don't move well. He has nothing left at this point in his career.
Yeah. Another note about Carlos Rodon. I saw a video surface because obviously he used to play for the White Sox, and it was last year against the White Sox. I think he gave up a hit or a walk, maybe had 2 men on or something like that, and the White Sox announcers, they had a close-up shot of his face, and they were like, oh, we've seen this before. Like, you could just tell if something, like, it's about to implode, or he made a comment along those lines. And I always talk about this, how you can just see it in his face.
Why are the Yankees defending him,
when
dude?
it's going to implode.
I just don't understand why we're defending this guy. We're paying him $27 million, and he's not producing, and we're coddling these guys.
Yeah, it's also one thing to defend him. You could still be real with him and defend him. Like, you would still be like, hey,
you're right.
Like he hasn't been good, but you gotta keep put him out there, try to let him fix it. But when you say, oh, he looked good today, he just had a bad inning, or he threw one bad mistake.
No, I mean, it's very frustrating to see when you lose. I think the Yankees, so Rodon's pitched 4 games. He won opening day. We've lost the other 3 he's pitched. So 3 of the 7 losses are on him. Keep that in mind. And it's not like it's not like he's giving up 2 runs in one of them. Like, he's giving like 4 or 5 runs, I think, at every single start, if not more. And it's frustrating to see these managers coddle him, Aaron Boone. And look, all you have to say is, I know Carlos is going to be better, but he's not pitching his best right now. You don't have to say, oh, he looks good, it's just a couple pitches. Just say he knows, we know he can pitch better. Because I've seen it before. Last year he's pitched better.
And the yes guys coddle him too. I don't know necessarily Michael Kay. I know Jack Curry definitely coddles him.
Michael Kay kind of goes off it. Michael Kay's very lenient on the broadcast. If you listen to a specific show, he kind of starts going off on the guys. Show. But no, you're right. They really do kind of coddle him.
Yeah, I feel like for being, I mean, the Yankees and Mets announcers in general are pretty unbiased. When on air, they basically call the game almost like a national broadcast. But I do like when Michael Kay gets real about the Yankees. Yeah. Like he last year did with Verdugo, and I don't know, they just need more of that.
Yeah. But some positives. I mean, Ben Rice is just awesome.
Oh, yeah.
He's looked awesome. Really just, and I don't see this changing because he hits the ball so hard. He hits the ball amongst like highest in the league percentage-wise, I'm pretty sure. And I don't know what we're going to do when Big G comes back. Because it's not like, because Paul Goldschmidt's been great too, so it's not like, oh, put him in first base. If Goldie was struggling, yeah, you can say that. But Goldschmidt's been great. He's hitting like 385. I really don't know what they're going to do, dude.
I don't either, and I feel like that's a problem that you got to take on when we get there.
You got to.
There's no solution at this point. And you don't want to come up with a solution in your head because then that means Goldschmidt or Ben Rice start struggling. You know?
Yeah, you're right.
And what is he gonna take over the backup catcher role?
Like, is he just gonna platoon a lot? Like, could he take over the? You're right. He could be backup catcher one day, give Goldie a day off, give Stan. Is that his role?
But also, if he does become the backup catcher and catches more, then usually you see offensive numbers go down a little bit just because it takes a toll on your body playing catcher.
I know this is crazy, but why would you at least not practice him at third base? Give him some reps. Like I know it's one thing to actually do it, but what's the point in not being in some practice? Hey, take some third base reps. Like, I don't know if you remember last year, Trent Gershon was taking first base reps, and we didn't have one pretty much the first round of the playoffs against the Royals.
Yeah, maybe he is taking some.
I think they asked Boone that if it's under discussion, and he was like, no.
Okay.
Which,
dude, Boone can get in his way. like get in his own way a little bit.
Yeah, I was ready to go off on him about Jason Dominguez taking him out, but
I still think that's ridiculous.
the contacts.
Yeah.
Could you not just get new contacts?
You just have a trainer run down and get it, put it back in.
Look, and then Trent did make a great play to possibly. I'm not gonna say it was a game-saving play, but it was definitely a big play. But it was a little frustrating because Dominguez had a great game, bases clearing double, went 3 for 3. He's really starting to impress me the more I see him play. He's starting to figure it out in left field.
Yeah, he looks more comfortable out there in left field for sure. It's just the type of thing. In a later inning, if his spot comes up, I know Grisham has been really good with the bat this year so far, but if Dominguez's spot comes up and you need a big hit,
You'd rather hit.
it just bites you in the ass in the end.
And my other thing is, so is this a game plan every time it's the 7th inning or later and it's a 2-run game, we're taking him out? And you need, if the Yankees, they have World Series aspirations.
Yeah, what are you
going
to do with that in the CS or the World Series?
Because if the Yankees are a World Series team, they're going to need Jason Dominguez more than they need Trent Grisham. We know what Trent Grisham is. Look, I love when he's playing more. He's a good player, but they are going to need Jason Dominguez to be the prospect they think he's going to be. And you have to play him every day. And I personally am willing to go through growing pains in April. So in September, he's comfortable and ready to go. But how is he going to get any routine if he's playing 7 innings of baseball every single day?
Yeah,
That's
exactly. And then going out there making a huge hit, game-winning hit,
and then getting
immediately pulled. And you make the comment, I think Boone was just looking for an excuse to take him out, because you can make the comment or the excuse about the contacts, but people who have contacts, half my family, my dad, my brother, my sister, they all have contacts. When you switch off of glasses to get contacts, they make you sit there and watch you put them in. You have to get it in your eye in a certain amount of time, or else they don't let you go home with the contacts. So if you have contacts, then that means you could put the contacts in your eyes relatively quickly. I think he would have had enough time, more than enough time, to go in the dugout, put contacts in his eyes, and run out there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're right. Like, I'm not going to go totally off in it because, he did – you saw what happened to him. Like, he did, hit himself in the face.
Yeah.
Was it the bat or, I mean, that was a great hit he had.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the way he turned on the ball inside and clutch hit. Really love to see it
from the right
kid.
side of the plate,
yeah,
too.
Which he's really starting to improve, and he's starting to get better in left field. So why I just want to keep seeing him get reps out there.
Yeah, I
know. I'm pretty happy with the Yankees right now. We've had a good few days. The Giants series was a little frustrating, especially Sunday when Carlos Rodon kind of just blew the game. I know Paul Goldschmidt an error, but that's a guy I'm happy with. A guy who I just feel like can't get into routine right now is Cody Bellinger. He's been missing games here and there with a back issue. I don't know if that's got to be something to look at, right? If it's a lingering injury,
the back issue,
food poisoning.
He's talked about that this back thing has been a thing for the last few years. Hopefully, it's just something. Maybe it's like a nagging thing for a couple months, but then it just goes away.
That's a mild concern for me.
July.
Yeah, I mean he hasn't been hitting the cup. He hasn't been hitting great. But I feel like he's in and out of the lineup, which
it feels like
for baseball.
It feels like he just hasn't gotten as much run as he should be getting, and part of that is the injury, part of that's the food poisoning.
I mean, I'm starting to think though that this offense is kind of here to stay. Not like they're still lead the MLB in home runs, and this team just hits a lot of home runs. I mean, they just have a lot of guys that can home runs. I mean, Jazz, who had a horrible slump, is tied for the league leading in home runs.
Yeah, but he's still hitting 167.
Yeah, is that what he's gonna turn into? Like that's what I'm going. I don't want that. We don't need
167 with a 716 OPS.
And he has 6 home runs. That's kind of insane.
That is insane.
I need a little more contact. That's what I always get frustrated with Jazz. I feel like he
11 hits, 6 home runs.
Yeah. I don't need to see that. I like to see guys have a little higher batting average. But
he was one of those guys that in the cold was.
Yeah, he definitely didn't like playing in
really
Detroit.
Struggling.
But I mean, Goldie's turned into a guy that's just a hitting machine.
Yeah, this offense just 1 through 9 is so much more consistent than last year. So I don't think we'll have that giant slump that we had last year.
That's what I hope. You're right, because last year sometimes when you watch Yankee games, if after the top 4, you're like, dude, we're not getting a hit. I don't feel that as much with this lineup. I just feel more confident when guys are up.
And then maybe when Goldschmidt, Judge go into a slump, then maybe like you have your Volpes and Chisholms, Bellingers to heat up.
Yeah, for sure. And then once Stanton comes back, that's just gonna add another great power hitter.
Yeah, Stanton, like, I don't know. Obviously, he's amazing, everything, but I feel like anything we get from him in the regular season just doesn't matter as much because it's just really for him. It's really all about the postseason.
Yeah, but you're also not. I'm taking his 230 average and 30 home run.
Of course,
25. I'd call it how much he's gonna miss time.
Of course, but he just turns it like I.
Oh yeah, he turns into a superstar.
I don't say that. I don't say that saying he doesn't matter in the regular season. I'm just saying it because he turns into such a different player in the postseason that it's like, oh, he's great in the regular season, but it's really playoff time when.
I think we could really ease him in this year because the team just has more depth. Last year, I mean, he was the 3rd best hitter, even with an year at best last year. And I remember when he missed time, they missed him so bad as a DH. They had Jahmai Jones getting DH reps, just guys that shouldn't be getting reps.
Oh
JD Davis, he was horrible. But I mean, if Stanton comes back, he could be the 7th best hitter in the lineup and be fine. I mean, because Torres was bad most of the year last year.
And then say playoffs come around, he's the 2nd best hitter. That's a amazing.
Oh yeah,
baseball team.
I mean, he turns into your
Aaron
every
Judge
day. He really does turn into your Aaron Judge type player as a batting wise in the playoffs. But I mean, I'm intrigued what's gonna happen to Ben Rice. How could you take him out of the lineup if he's hitting this well? You can't.
You can't. You have to find a place for him to play, and that's almost why you're almost like filling another hole if you can get him to play third base. The Yankees, Aaron Boone always has memes made about him every year because when someone comes back from injury, he's like, "Oh, it's like trading for a great player."
I hate when he says that.
I hate when he says that too.
Oh my god!
But in a sense, if you can get him to play a good third base, and he can stay swinging a hot bat, you are in a sense pulling a new player out of nowhere.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you're right.
In that sense, and then you don't need to fill the hole of third base.
Yeah, I don't think that's very realistic to count on because there's been no mention that they still have. I saw the earliest timetable was Memorial Day, so let's call it mid-June. Let's call it 2 months. All right, let's call a realistic return for Stan in 2 months. So you have 2 more months to see what Ben Rice is like, because if he starts slowing down, then there's no issue. If he starts, but I don't know if he. Just gotta wait and see, man. I mean, it's not a bad problem to have, of course, when you have 2 capable players being your designated hitter, but if he's something to look out for. Any other Yankee talk? Oh, Clark Schmidt comes back tonight.
Yep.
That'll be very good for the Yankees. They need all the starting pitching help they can get. He might slot in right at the number 2 pitcher if it's back to normal Clark Schmidt.
I mean, just a note about Luke Weaver, how good he's been. I think he's pitched like 9 innings.
He's looked awesome.
No runs. I think 9 strikeouts, I believe. Hold on, I'm gonna find this.
Devin Williams is starting to look better too. He's starting to get back to himself, which is very, very good.
Yeah, we just gotta give him a little bit of time. Yeah, 9 innings.
Tim Hill, man, still impressing me too.
Yeah. 2 hits for Weaver, 5 walks, 9 strikeouts. He's just been unbelievable.
That's a guy. I think
he already has a .7 WAR.
Yeah, you might have to say that. You might have to go up to him right now and extend him right now. He's gonna keep making more money if he keeps us up. That's a guy that I think loves being a Yankee.
He came out of nowhere, and he buys into his role perfectly. I remember watching him on the Foul Territory show last year, and they asked him about his role, like if he feels like he should still be the closer or whatever, and he said, I was kind of just like the really cool substitute teacher. I was just filling in.
He loves being a Yankee.
Yeah, he just loves. He's one of those guys where he's just so grateful to be a professional baseball player.
That's what you love to see.
Yeah,
those are the type of guys you love to see.
Exactly.
All right, want to get another voicemail, and then we'll get into some NBA playoff predictions before ending off with a little draft talk.
Yes, sir. This is our last voicemail.
All right.
Oh wait.
Hey, this is Sam from Garden City. Was thinking about the draft during your podcast last week, and what do you think the Giants would do? You know, we never know what's going on with the draft. What do you think they would do if somehow the Titans don't take Cam Ward? You think they trade up to 2? You think they'll take him at 3 if he's there? Also, who do you think the Rangers should get if Laviolette is fired? Thanks a lot.
Oh, you gotta see. My uncle screwed me over with these hockey questions, but I think they would go all out for Cam Ward, but it's just that's not gonna happen. Titans are gonna take him. Never know. You're right. It's not official till it's official.
And also, if the Titans don't take him, I still don't see the Browns taking him. Maybe if the Titans don't take him, then it's this whole thing like the Browns.
It would be
don't
in effect like
this
the
happening.
movie Draft Day, where the number 1 overall quarterback doesn't go, and the entire draft's like, what is going on?
But it is.
He's minus 10,000.
Yeah, it is all but done. Cam Ward was asked the other day who his top running backs in the league were, and he said Tony Pollard, and then he paused and he said, and Spears. So
that's hilarious. Yeah, he'll be a Titan. I know I want to be a Giant too, but never know.
Yeah,
it's not official till it's official.
What do you think about this hockey thing?
I don't.
We don't really.
You got to keep me updated, Uncle Anthony. Keep calling in about hockey. I didn't know their coach got fired.
Yeah, we gotta start. Wait.
Maybe we'll get a hockey guy for the show. All right, if any Rangers guys call in and playoffs starting, right?
He said if he's fired, so I don't think he's.
Oh, he's not fired yet. Okay. You know what? Hit us up if you want to talk Rangers.
Yeah, we'll have you on.
You'll do your own thing.
Yeah,
we'll post on our YouTube.
I like it.
All right. So the sport I am into that's starting the playoffs, the NBA playoffs, is starting. The play-in happened yesterday with the Warriors becoming the 7th seed and the Orlando Magic becoming the 7th seed. I talked about a playoff preview on a little episode I recorded the other day. So I was waiting to do on the live show to our predictions. So we'll give our predictions. You want to start off East or West? Or we'll do East for the Knicks.
Yeah.
So Pistons, Knicks, I mentioned on that I think this is kind of a tougher matchup for the Knicks. And I think a young, gritty team could hurt them, as I think the Knicks are softer than normal. Mm-hmm. What concerns me about Detroit is they're so young, and their veteran players like Malik Beasley and Tobias Harris aren't great playoff players. So I don't know if especially the Madison Square Garden lights are going to get to them. I think the Knicks had a good regular season, but I think this series is going 6 or 7.
I think it's going 6.
I got Knicks at 7. That's my final one.
I got Knicks in 6. But I could also see a world where the Pistons come out and punch them in the mouth a little bit. Mm-hmm. They play a little bit of an old school.
They're kind of like the bad
basketball.
boy Pistons,
yeah,
like Walmart version.
The Tobias Harris note you made, I feel like the spotlight was bigger for him in
Philly, for
sure, right. And that big contract he had. So, and there's a lot of pressure on that Philly team.
I think Cade Cunningham's a superstar incoming. So I think he's really going to put his name on the map, and I could see him just going crazy. And why I say 7 is this gives me the type of series where you see a young team really push hard and lose, and you're like, oh, that team's on the map. In the bubble, the Oklahoma City Thunder lost in 7 to a veteran Rockets team, and look at them now.
Exactly.
They kind of kept growing. And
they kind of have their enforcer in Isaiah Stewart.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll see some pushing and shoving from him for sure.
And this Knicks team is like Tibbs' identity is usually like hard-nosed, tough defense basketball.
That's not them.
And that's not them. Like
they really miss Hardenstein and DiVincenzo.
And someone like Stewart can really get into Cat's
face.
Head.
I can so see that. Yep.
And Cat maybe would just fall apart.
No, I mean, I mentioned this where I've watched a lot of Karl Anthony Towns playoff games, especially last year. Timberwolves kind of made a run. And I've never seen a guy where literally within the first 6 minutes of the game, you can tell if you're going to get an aggressive Cat or a guy that has 8 points and 5 fouls. And I think they need him to be that consistent second option because Brunson will be Brunson. I'm not worried about that. Can Mikal Bridges step up? I haven't loved the way he just fit on this team. So we'll see. But I got Knicks at 7. At the end of the day, I think the Knicks will take this series. A little rivalry matchup. Last year rematch. Pacers-Bucks. No Damian Lillard doesn't sound like for this series. He could come back later on, but he's missing the start. Giannis is just going to have to carry this Bucks team, as I really don't like this team. I don't love how Kuzma fits there. Brook Lopez is aging. Ryan Rollins is their starting point guard, I believe, who I really don't know much about, and Taurean Prince is there. Don't love Doc Rivers. Besides Giannis, I just don't love this team.
Yeah. Doc Rivers, big playoff choker.
Yeah, and I like Indiana. I mean, they made the conference finals last year. Tyrese Halliburton's got, and Rick Carlisle got a really good system there where they're one of the fastest paced teams. They got a lot of good players. I think I like Pacers in 6 in this one.
Okay, I'm gonna take Bucks in 7.
All right, I like it. If Giannis goes crazy, I could see it.
Giannis can,
because he's the best player on the floor.
I'm mostly making this pick based off Giannis being the best
How the
player
playoffs
on
work.
the floor, and maybe Dame comes back later in the series.
If Giannis has like his 2018 LeBron type thing, the Bucks have won 8 straight games going into the playoffs, so they've looked good. And Giannis put up some crazy numbers. And this is Giannis's first healthy playoff series since 2022. Yeah, because he didn't play at all last year, and he missed the beginning of that Miami upset series in 2023.
Oh yeah.
So, Magic, Celtics. Look, I like the Magic. I think they're better than what a 7 seed. They had a lot of injuries with Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner, are 2 very good players. I like Jamal Moses, their head coach. With that being said, this series is not going more than 5 games. Boston's the defending champions. Celtics 5. I don't think I have much to say about it.
I got Celtics at 5 too.
And then we don't know the 8 seed yet, but the Cavs will probably sweep Atlanta or Chicago or the Heat.
Yeah.
All those teams suck.
Yeah.
Moving on to the West, which I think all these matchups are really fascinating that we have so far, except Thunder. If it's Thunder, Memphis, or whoever.
Thunder in 4.
Yeah, I think they'll sweep, honestly. Especially John Morant had a little injury scare last night in the playing game, which honestly was a good game. But Houston Golden State's a fascinating matchup. Golden State is the 7 seed, and Houston is the 2 seed. The Warriors are favored. I didn't even know that. Yeah, they're favored Vegas-wise, which is very you don't see that with the 2-7 matchup. Rockets had a great year under Coach Ime Udoka. Have a lot of young players. They're a good team, but they're just early, man.
The Warriors beat the Kings a couple years ago, right? Or did they
Yes.
yes. And this kind of reminds me of that matchup a
You're
little
right,
bit. Just
similar
like,
matchup.
young team and a veteran team.
Yeah, Golden State's looked really good since they acquired Jimmy Butler. I think they got a good first-round matchup. Houston's a good team. They're a big team, which calls Golden State some problems with Alfred Sengun, Jabari Smith. You know, Dylan Brooks will do Dylan Brooks things, but their half-court offense is suspicious, and you really need that in the playoffs as there's not as much transition.
I really want to take the Warriors here.
Yeah, I'm leaning the Warriors.
And wasn't Udoka the Celtics coach when they lost to the Warriors?
Ime Udoka's a really good coach, but this team's just so young. All their best players are young. Jalen Green's young. I mean, they have Fred VanVleet, who, of course, won a championship, but he's kind of more a supporting player. Good team, but, you know, playoffs is about experience. And, I think I'm going Golden State in 6. I think I'm
gonna take them in 7.
I can see that. I mean, look, maybe the Rockets surprise me. I'm not very high on this Rockets team. I'm kind of surprised they ended up the 2 seed. They started playing really well at the end of the year. Lakers Timberwolves. This could be a really fun matchup. You got the stars, Anthony Edwards, Luka, and LeBron. Luka owned the Timberwolves last year, and I think now his co-stars LeBron James. I think Timberwolves are a little worse than they were last year, but they're still a good team. These teams are only separated by 1 game. That's how close the West was. But Luka just cooks Rudy Gobert. I don't love the way the Timberwolves could guard the Lakers. Jaden McDaniels doesn't do as great with bigger guys, and Luka and LeBron are both bigger guys. I'm going to do my best Shan Sharp here. Ant-Man, Batman, Superman, Iron Man, don't matter. Lakers in 5.
I think I'm going to take the Lakers in 6. So part of me wants to pick the Timberwolves, but, like...
I like this matchup for the Lakers.
Yeah.
I think this was their pop.
Part of me wants to pick the Timberwolves just because of Ant-Man, but also you have the same type of player in Luka on the other side.
Yeah.
Where obviously they're not similar players, but, like...
Yeah, they're both young superstars.
They're both superstars, yeah.
And I think this was another good draw for the Lakers because I know a lot of people are like, I'm very high on Coach J.J. Redick, but this is his first playoff series. And Chris Finch, who has some experience, isn't like a Ty Lue or Steve Kerr, who have championship experience. So I think him drawing Chris Finch is much more ideal than a championship coach like one of those two.
And Chris Finch might be the first coach ever to get injured in the playoffs.
Yes, last year. I mean, he impressed me last year. I mean,
Yeah.
Timberwolves are a good team. I think a lot of people just see the Lakers with Luka, LeBron, how they've been playing since that trade, and like, this is easily Lakers. I don't see it that way. I know I picked them in 5 because I really believe in the Lakers, but Timberwolves are a really good team. I don't love Julius Randle in the playoffs. He always seems like he shoots tour dates in the playoffs. And Gobert, I just think will get hunted by Luka, LeBron, and the Lakers play small ball, which typically Rudy doesn't play as well against. He does better against the bigger centers. But okay, moving on. To me, this is the best series of the first round. Clippers Nuggets.
I think it's the most interesting for sure.
I think this is definitely 7-game potential. I know I had the Knicks in 7, but this is a series. If I had to bet money on to go to 7, I'd go say this. Nuggets firing Mike Malone's crazy. They have the best player in the world, Nikola Jokic. But I just don't love how this team's looked. Defensively, they've looked really bad. Jamal Murray's been hobbled, but, playoff Jamal Murray is a different animal. David Adelman, who I actually know a little bit about because he almost was the Lakers coach last year, so I heard of him. I think he could be a good coach, but he's, coached 3 or 4 games against a championship coach like Ty Lue. And I really liked how the Clippers have looked. Kawhi might be back. This is the most explosive I've seen him look in a while, and Harden had a really good year with Ivica Zubac. Oh, I'm 50-50, though, because Jokic is that guy, and Denver has championship experience. They still got a lot of those core guys. I'm trying to think. How do you feel with this series?
I think the Nuggets are going to pull this out in 6 games. I think the Malone firing I don't think I'll ever understand it really. There has to be something else going on there. But there's ownership probably is showing tension in there. But I don't see how there's tension between Malone and Jokic. I think they're just picking the side of their superstar. He's the best player this franchise has ever had. I think they trust him to lead them to the promised land. So I think the Nuggets are going to win the series.
Yeah, they don't guard well, and I don't like their depth. Clippers, I'm struggling with this one, man. This could be a little chance for the Clippers to get revenge from blowing that 3-1 lead in the bubble to Denver. I think I'm going to go Clippers in 7. I really like the way Harden's looked, and I think this series might come down to who looks more like themselves, Jamal Murray or Kawhi Leonard. Because playoff Jamal Murray is a different animal. This guy turns into a legitimate superstar in the playoffs. And healthy Kawhi is awesome, of course, too. And, the Clippers could, obviously Zubac's not going to stop Jokic, but that's a big body that's going to match his minutes, likely. Zubac's had a really awesome year. But, yeah, I think I'm going Clippers in 7. I'm going back and forth. Right now, I'm going Clippers in 7, yeah. But, it's all the first-round matchups we got. Very excited to see the playoffs start this weekend. Going to be watching those daily. All right. Any other thoughts on NBA playoffs? All right. Let's move on to our last topic, the draft. Want to start off Jets or Giants?
Let's start off Giants.
All right. So, kind of same old stuff. Speculating a week out. Shadur and the Giants having another private workout. And, like the psychos sports fans are, does that mean they love him and they want to make sure? Does that mean they don't like him, they want to make sure? Who knows? Joe Shane had some comments today, and he kind of just said what most people have been saying, that they don't need to take a quarterback anymore because they signed 2. They're going to take the best player, but, again, not really much answers. I don't know what to think, man, a week out.
I could see this as just them doing their due diligence, and if they – and I think they're out on him at 3, but maybe they're like, if he falls, we trade back up and get him. That's the only reason.
He might fall now. Are the Saints number 9 going to take him?
Saints at 9, maybe the Raiders, but I don't really see that happening. I can see the Saints trading up to the Raiders' 6th overall pick.
So I think maybe what the Giants could happen with Shadur, because I agree. Abdul Carter, I think, is the number 3 overall pick. I think it's Ward, Hunter, Abdul Carter, and then after that, I have no idea what could happen. I think if Shadur Sanders falls, what the Giants' best hope is someone in the early teens, their 2 guys get taken, which will happen. So we're like there's a team likes two guys, they get taken. They're like, oh, crap, we want to trade out. Giants call up, offer them pick. Dude, it might cost them a first-round pick next year to get it, though. Because
To get
the
in
Giants are
late?
going to be the more desperate team. I don't think I'd do it. I don't think it's worth trading your next year's first. Because I'm just comparing it to the Justin Fields trade that the Giants did. Giants got a first-round pick for that. I don't know. But why are they having another private workout? Could they take it? I don't know, dude. I'm really overthinking
They got to
this.
just be doing their due diligence.
You think it's a thing where
Right?
it's either, all right, we really like this guy and we got to make sure, or it's, we're off this guy and let's just make sure. Could be either one. That's what I think it is. What do you think?
Or maybe just more like you can never evaluate a guy enough.
Really?
maybe just more about
the Giants have spent so much time watching this guy going back to last year. I feel like they know everything they know about Shedeur Sanders.
yeah. Maybe they got some more questions for him.
I don't
know.
It's
I don't know. It's definitely something.
everyone has their own theories.
Definitely something to speculate about, but
He's still the heavy favorite. He's still the heavy. Actually, not heavy favorite. He's still the favorite to be the second quarterback taken. The odds have definitely gone down, and Jackson Dart's name's starting to creep up. Which could he go first? I really don't know I don't know what team I would say Shedeur is in a week. I really have no idea.
if I had to guess, I would say most likely, especially with the Derek Carr stuff happening, Saints.
Good, but see, people are saying now Dart makes more sense for the Saints. I don't know why people are speculating that instead of. So this is the beauty of the draft.
Yeah,
everyone has their own theories. I'm sure these executives have an idea what their plan is, but they don't have a clear plan, as anything can happen in the draft. Every single morning I'm listening to these sports shows talk about the draft, specifically the Giants, and it's all just speculating, but it's got to be Abdul Carter. If I really think it's that, and then the next step is I wonder if they trade Kayvon Thibodeau. That's what I wonder, and I would do that if I were the Giants because you would have 3 outside rushers. You don't really do that in the NFL.
You
could.
never have enough.
You're right.
A lot of teams these days rotate their pass rushers.
The question right now for the Giants is, do you take the best player or a possible franchise quarterback? Last year, they took the best player from League Neighbors, who looks really good, but have the quarterback void. And I think there's a real strong possibility if you take Abdul Carter, we're having the same conversation right now that we had last year, that we're having right now, and that we might be having in 2026. And you really, Schoen and Dable only have one chance to take or not take their quarterback. And my last message is, if they don't take a quarterback, then there's a likely chance that you're going to get fired without ever drafting your own quarterback.
I think though, if they don't draft a quarterback, then don't draft a quarterback this year, then they have a better chance to not get fired next year.
That's a fair
because
assumption.
they'll be getting a player that's making an immediate impact.
Okay.
Whereas if they draft a quarterback, they're not making. There's 0% chance they make an immediate impact.
I think pick 34 might be Jalen Milroe. That's what I'm starting to lean towards.
I can see it, but even that,
You remember like one of our first episodes, I read how second round quarterbacks fade out.
Yeah.
They're almost never good.
They are almost
That
never
sounds
good.
nice right now, but like
the only good one is Jalen Hurts.
I think there's a higher chance that, you ready for this? That Jalen Milroe would never start a game for the Giants than he would be good. Because he wouldn't play next year, and it's going to be all new. There's a good chance it's all new regime the year after that, and they take, I don't know, let's just say Arch Manning.
That's like exactly what the Jets did with Christian Hackenberg like years ago. I don't think he ever started a game, and I think Woody Johnson, someone asked him a question. They were like, "Oh, we've heard that Christian Hackenberg can't hit an ocean if he threw the ball," and I think it was Woody Johnson said, "Depends what ocean." I don't know.
That's funny.
And then I don't think he ever played a snap for the Jets.
Yeah, he didn't. He didn't. I remember seeing that. Okay. What about what about this, Henry? We're at Buffalo Wild Wings for the draft. Giants take Abdul Carter. Everyone's asking, where's Shedeur going? Jets are pick 7. This is a guy they like. They take Shedeur Sanders.
The
What's
Jets,
your reaction?
no
shot.
No, they're not.
There's
doing
zero
that.
chance
They're not doing that because
If he falls their lap, it's not impossible.
I don't think the Jets love Shedeur Sanders.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Did you think the
And-
Falcons love Michael Penix?
They had to have loved Michael
But-
Penix.
Well, but would you have guessed that? My point is, You just don't
No.
know. You just
Yes,
don't
you're
know.
right.
But anything can happen.
But the and the Falcons got their quarterback last year in Kirk Cousins, so didn't see that coming. The Jets get their quarterback. The only difference is when the Falcons signed Kirk Cousins and they're like, this is our quarterback. He's an old quarterback coming off an Achilles injury. Justin Fields is still young.
Justin Fields is a backup quarterback. Like, he was a backup quarterback. Okay.
He was a backup quarterback last year.
All right.
A lot of people thought that he shouldn't have been a backup
I'm going to say the same
quarterback
thing
last year.
I've said about the Giants. If the Jets love a quarterback, Justin Fields is not getting in the way. That's true.
Yes.
If they truly love a quarterback, they likely don't. I'm just saying, if these teams truly love a quarterback, they will take them.
That's true.
Like, Justin Fields isn't stopping from taking him.
I just think that
I don't think they're going to take him.
I just think Aaron Glenn and the Jets' new GM are gonna. I think they have their quarterback for 2025, and they're gonna be more focused on a different position.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't think this is the way to start a
Right.
regime. Yeah. I don't think it's the way to start.
If the Jets had the number 1 overall pick and there was a can't miss Andrew Luck, Trevor Lawrence type prospect, even though Trevor Lawrence hasn't been what people thought he was going to be, that type of prospect. If there's a prospect like that, then yeah.
Yeah,
But you're not just doing that.
Yeah, I don't know if this is the best way to start a regime. And for that franchise too.
And the Jets have fallen in to the trap in the past of where they draft a quarterback like Darnold or Wilson, and they miss out on these incredible players because they drafted the quarterback.
Yeah, that's
So
fair. You're right. I don't think.
But I do.
It could happen. It's not impossible.
I do understand where people are talking about drafting the quarterback, but I've always been on the side of build up the team and then find your quarterback, only because the Jets have never been able to hit on a quarterback. But if the Jets weren't weren't like a type of team like that, I probably would be on the side of get your quarterback. If you think your quarterback's there.
You think one of Dart or Sanders fall to the Steelers? I'm starting to lean yes.
Yeah, I think Dart will fall to the Steelers, definitely. Sanders could.
Yeah.
I think Dart will definitely fall to the Steelers, but I don't think that necessarily means the Steelers will draft him.
If Sanders doesn't go number 9, if he gets past that, the draft gets really interesting.
It might be a Will Levis type stumble.
Oh my God.
Do you remember watching that?
Yes.
And obviously, we're more keen in on Will Levis because we go to the University of Kentucky. But before the draft, and I want to compare this a little bit to the Baker Mayfield draft. In the back of my head, I was like, Will Levis is going to shock the world and be the number 1 overall pick. Like, just the aura he carries himself, not the aura, but like the edge, like cockiness almost that he carries himself with. And then he didn't go top 5. I'm like, oh, well, he'll get drafted soon. And he fell to the next day, like pick 34 or something.
I'll never forget this. I was at Buffalo Wild Wings, and I was talking to some guys. We were just waiting for Taylor. He's like, yeah, I bet $100 Levis go top 3. It was a rumor. It was a random rumor, and it just didn't happen.
Especially being down here in the city where Will Levis played. Yeah. We heard a lot about Will Levis that year just because like of the people down here.
Look, that's what I love about the draft, though. It's such a fun. I love the draft. I don't know why. Like, I think it's such a fun night.
It's just so cool to sit back. It's the optimism of the draft to see who your team's gonna draft, and then when they get those players, you can go and watch their highlights and be like, oh, this is our guy.
It's one of the few moments where I actually, like, the few hours where I don't go on my phone because you get spoiled from Schefter's tweeting. I love just enjoying the moment, having some drinks, eating some good food. It's a good time. I'm really excited for the draft. Next week is our draft week episode. Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Henry, we might have to record live reactions to the Giants and Jets picks.
I like that.
Like one of us is recording the other person's reaction.
I don't know why I was thinking about this guy, Darren Lee, that the Jets drafted.
Wow.
Do you remember him?
Briefly.
I remember I thought this guy was going to be good. He's a linebacker. I'm trying to figure out. It might have been.
I thought Evan Neal was gonna be a stud. I mean, he's still young. You never know.
This might have been 2016.
What position was he?
A linebacker.
Okay.
He went to Ohio State. Oh, he was a 20th. Oh, yes, it was a year after Fitzpatrick when we went 10-6 and missed out on the playoffs by a game. Then we drafted Darren Lee. He was horrible.
Yeah.
But I thought he was going to be good.
All right. Does someone trade out? This is kind of like next week type question. Does someone trade out of the top 10? I'm gonna go yes. I'm gonna go some team doesn't like their pick.
Yes. I'm gonna say.
Oh, gotta give an exact number and team.
No. I'm gonna pick a team from the top 10. Hold on. I'm gonna pull up draft order.
All right, so I think Sanders is gonna fall, and someone's gonna trade up to get him. Might be the Giants.
What if?
I think I could see the Giants doing it. If he starts falling, pick 34 is pretty much a first round pick.
Mm-hmm.
Could it just cost pick 34 and a second round pick next
Yeah.
year? Could it? I don't know.
What if the? I guess I don't know why I could see the Saints trading out of the top 10.
All it takes is for you to miss, like, you don't love who's available. That's all it takes.
But I could also see the Saints and Raiders flip flopping. The Raiders or the Saints are pick 9.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I can't wait. Yeah, we'll talk. Well, that'll be a big topic next week. You got anything else to add on?
I'm just gonna talk about the Jets real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, I really want Tyler Warren, the tight end from Penn State, and the reason I want him is because the Jets' new offensive coordinator Tanner Anstrand. I always botch his name, but he came from the Lions, and the Lions have this great tight end in Sam Laporta, and they use their tight end a lot. So I could see the Jets that he almost wanting to bring that style of play to the Jets. Jared Goff, who he coached under the last few years, the last 2 years was top 10 in throws to a tight end. So, and Justin Fields, who kind of has some problems with throwing the ball, I could see them getting a great tight end to kind of make him a safety valve and a good target. I could see that, but then I could also see them going with the tackle from Missouri, Membu or whatever his name is. So I really want Tyler Warren.
I feel like that's where it's leaning to. I feel like that's where they're going to go.
And we passed up on Bowers last year. But part of me also feels like this could almost be a makeup pick. Like, we didn't get the tight end last year, so we're getting the tight end this year.
Different regime, though.
Different regime.
So I don't think they think that way.
And also a great tight end, too, still.
Yeah.
So,
He's like,
yeah.
I could see this.
Mm-hmm.
Tight ends typically, I feel like when they get drafted high, they typically are studs.
Yeah,
Like,
besides Kyle Pitts.
I'll still be delusional and draft him in fantasy.
Oh, yeah.
Any last
No,
thoughts?
I think we covered
Yeah,
everything.
thank you guys for watching. We'll have our draft episode next week. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Yes, sir. Thank you.